that's hit on every pulse. It's a really surreal moment when suddenly he throws his pulses out of time with each other and one's beating slower than the other one.
How are you feeling?
I'm not feeling very well.
Then you get this wonderful perplexed expression coming across the medical faces.
Have you ever come across anything like this, medically speaking? Have you?
No.
I would have been very surprised if you had.
And then eventually he actually slows his pulse so much that it stops. And I saw this and I decided, that's fantastic, but I'm going to apply how David thinks, and that just anything is possible. You can create whatever you want if you think long enough and you work on it. And I hopefully have taken it a stage further by stopping somebody else's pulse as opposed to just my own. So hopefully it's a slightly new twist on it. I'm going to bring my hand over and you'll feel it getting slower. It happens already, doesn't it? You can feel it getting slower. And it will get slower and slower and slower. If I take my hand away, it will kind of stay at that rate for a moment. I've got this little crystal in here. If I use this, you'll actually see that for the moment that pulse stays at that rate, and this will actually stay kind of in rhythm to it. So you can see that it swings kind of in rhythm there. Now, along with the pulse, you'll actually see the crystal getting slower and slower and slower. Along with the pulse, you can see it, can't you? You can feel it getting slower.
Yeah.
In fact, when that stops, the pulse will be gone. It's gone, isn't it? It's not there? How do you feel?
I felt
What would you normally say if you couldn't find a pulse?
I'd press the emergency button.
Do you want me to press the emergency button?
Please.
And now it comes back.
Yeah.
And it's back?
Yeah. Oh my God.
There's nothing special about that table. There are no camera tricks either. What you're about to see really happens, with no fakery, no strings attached. And it seems no earthly explanation.
The original idea of making a table move is one of the things that the Victorians did in their days at their seances.
At that time, it had been spirits who were credited with moving the table. By the 1960s, we were crediting the untapped power of the human mind.
I expected to get a crowd of maybe a couple of dozen people midday in Nairobi, but when we started, we got a crowd of over 1,000. But there is a very nice story that goes with it. The next night, I was approached by some Africans who said that they would like me to meet their witch doctors, and they made me what they called an honorary witch doctor.
David Burglas has been performing his table-tipping illusion for more than 40 years. We enticed him out of retirement to prove that even today this telekinetic trick can still baffle.
Now imagine, just imagine, that you can lift this table up with your fingertips, so keep looking at the candle, in through the nose, out through the mouth, and let the table come up with your fingertips. Keep looking at the candles. No, you're doing fantastic, but don't take your eyes off the candles, please. Keep it up, higher. Don't let the fingers leave the tablecloth, and you're doing incredibly well. Wow, that is more than I expected, but no, keep it up. Don't worry about anything. Just keep looking at the candles, please. Keep looking at the candles. Will you all stand up? You keep your fingers on the tabletop. Don't look away, please. Keep looking at the candles. And now, will you wiggle your fingers to prove that you're not really holding it? Wiggle your fingers and stop. Will you now lift your left hands and keep them up there? Now, lift your right hands. Keep them up there. Look at the candle, please. Look at the candle all the time. And now try and will it down by looking at that force in between your hands and the table. Push it down, you can, but don't touch the table, just try and push it down. You can just push it down. You're over there, just let, oh, little further there. It's going down now. Fantastic, you have done. Give yourselves a round of applause.
The 1970s was a time of unprecedented scientific discovery. With a man on the moon, anything seemed possible. So when a young Israeli with a remarkable act exploded onto our TV screens, millions were ready to believe that the very laws of physics had gone into meltdown.
Tonight we meet the man who bent this door key, apparently just by stroking it.
He says he's really psychic. he gets his power from the planet Huba.
It's real magic from the old sense of the word. It's the core, the essence, the atom of my demonstration. And if someone has a problem with that, take a walk.
Ladies and gentlemen, Uri Geller.
30 years ago, David Dimbleby bent down and he actually picked up a fork, but I'll pick up a spoon.
Turn it around and hold it like this. Tell me if you feel anything coming from my hand, and also you.
I said to it, bend. I said to it, melt. And I was just ever so gently stroking the thin part of the spoon, because that's easier for me.
It's bending.
It's bending very, very gently.
And I just hope it'll happen here. There are no guarantees, because it's real. And yeah, I'm feeling it now.
Look, it's like it's becoming like plastic.
It's gonna go. It's just very soft now.
It's breaking. It's breaking.
It's broken. There's a crack.
You can look. It's very.
And it's just there. The minute that fork melted, the BBC's telephone system blew up.
Geller shot to superstardom. He was the right performer at the right time.
There was a starvation, more or less, for a miracle worker. He sort of fell on very fertile ground and took root immediately.
Because it was a very frightening time. There was Vietnam, there was this was the age of mutual assured destruction, you know, when we all thought we were going to blow up and the world was going to come to an end. People want some kind of outside, non-human agency that they can look to. I think that's something that's stronger than intellect. And so stuff like astrology and psychics fill this very big gap that a lot of people feel.
In times of turmoil, there are always those who claim extraordinary powers and who find followers prepared to believe them. In the 70s, Uri Geller wasn't the only sensation.
James Heydrich first showed up on American television and was snapped up by the media as a miracle worker, and he was making pencils move on tables and making pages turn in a telephone directory and various things like this. It's just a simple thing where he would take the telephone directory and just run his fingers down like this and do this kind of thing, and then he would say, "Move," and the page would move. "Move." That was astonishing. How could he possibly do that? Well, he was simply blowing at it. There's no big puzzle here.
My whole idea behind this in the first place was to see how dumb America was, how dumb the world is.
Magicians, just by the nature of their performance, are obviously deceiving us. That's their job.
I'm simply not a magician, never have been.
But exactly the same tricks can be used in a very different way, in what's called the big lie, which is that we don't realize we're up against a magician.
Of what use is this to mankind, the fact that someone can bend a fork or a spoon? I don't really see the value in it. Mind you, if it were done by psychic powers, I could see there might be some value in it. In my opinion, at least the way I do it, certainly, it's done by trickery, and I suspect that other people do it by trickery too. I suspect that very strongly.
If it is some person who has come to see a miracle, to be healed, I would be against that. But if that person came to be entertained and enjoy a show, I would leave it as a mystery, as a positive mystery. So I don't think that that is some kind of a damaging lie.
But Europe's blackest hour did throw up one performer who was prepared to cross the line all the way, turning his knowledge into a damaging lie at the service of the Third Reich. Eric van Hanussen began his career as a stage mentalist. But in the ferment of pre-war Nazi Germany, he began to claim genuine clairvoyant powers.
Hanussen